Alright, let's see. Not showing up live for me yet. I know I hit the button. Let's see. Oh. Alright, there we go. The ad is live. So, yeah, we're live, guys. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to tonight's episode of the Xbox Roumdtable Podcast. This is show number 313, your place on Sunday nights covering all kinds of Xbox news and, of course, more from around gaming. I'm Invader, and we've got an exciting show planned for you tonight. PlayStation had their latest state of play. We'll discuss our thoughts on that, and also the Xbox Game Showcase is just around the corner, so we'll go over some of our predictions for it. So it should make for a pretty fun discussion. Before beginning, of course, we'll introduce the crew for tonight, and yeah, as you can see, it's just the three of us, me, Crusader, and Shockley. Probably be a little bit of a shorter event tonight, but hey, we'll definitely have a fun discussion tonight. Crusader, what's up, brother?
Oh, nothing much. Just kind of in like full Destiny mode before the expansion launches on Tuesday. Really excited for the final shape.
Yeah, I know you were just before we went live talking about how you were gonna be MIA for at least a couple of days, anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna be MIA on social media for anyone if you're trying to get a hold of me. I'm not gonna be around because I'm going full. As soon as the expansion goes live on Tuesday at noon, I will be dropping off social media until I've beaten the storyline. I mean, it's a 10-year storyline in the making. No way no way I'm risking getting spoiled for stuff. Even though PlayStation decided to accidentally make the expansion go live on PS Plus Premium for like 4 hours the other night. That was pretty cool, and by cool I mean not cool at all.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing if they scrubbed it within like a few minutes or half an hour or whatever, but like damn.
Happened in the middle of the night, so I can't be like totally upset that they didn't get it that fast because like people weren't awake, but like still really annoying.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but the good thing is that you got a couple of days to be able to play for it. So yeah. But yeah, great to have you here tonight as always, Mr. Crusader. And Eric Shockley. Hey, how you been the past week?
Pretty good. Sorry, I'm in the car for the first few minutes of the show tonight, but no, pretty good. I mean, I wish I could be hyped for Destiny 2, since as many hours as I would be on that day and night back in the day. So, but I don't know. Probably still onboarding's probably still rough,
awful.
but awful, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe when they make a Destiny 3, that's probably when I can jump in. But yeah. I mean, I'll definitely look forward to see what Crusader's thoughts on this last expansion would be. And maybe there's a point where I can just like at least jump in and experience this. Was this the last one that they're doing?
What, the expansion?
Or last big expansion?
We don't know. We know nothing after what happens this week.
Oh, okay.
Like we know that there's some seasonal content which is now called episodes. We know like that's happening this like in the year, but they told us after we beat the raid and beat the final boss, they'll let us know what's coming next.
Oh, okay. Yeah, their raids that's something they've always even the ones that weren't that intricate like Crota or whatever, like they've still always been a blast. So that's
the remade Crota was really good too.
Oh, okay. Wonder if they put some of the
they made it harder. They made it much harder.
Oh, okay. Because there was definitely some RNG in that part, even in the original, where it was just like you'd think he's gonna go one way, and then it's just like, oh shit, shit hit the fan. But yeah, definitely be looking forward just to see. Maybe I own it. I just bought the expansions, but haven't played them. I think the last couple, like the Witch Queen, I think I bought, and then yeah, I bought it because I was like on sale, I think, and then I was like, I'll get to it, but yeah, still haven't. But yeah, looking forward to that. And then definitely looking forward to the show next week. So I haven't been playing much. It's been trying to finish my platinum on a Resident Evil remake on PlayStation. Just have to beat it under 3 hours. So just trying to get that down. So, but yeah, ready to get into the show.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I hear you on that, Shockley. I've just been kind of getting through Hellblade 2, almost there. I know I'm near the end on that. Also started Phantom Fury, which really looking forward to diving into it a little more. Love my boomer shooters, to say the least. But yeah, guys, very quick reminder to like tonight's show and share it out, as we would love to have more awesome Xbox gamers here with us tonight, or just, gamers in general. Like, just be great to have more eyes and ears here. Great to see you guys here in the chat. Thimber, hey, waving back at you, pal. All right, without further delay, guys, let's kick things off tonight talking about the latest PlayStation State of Play. They showcased some updated gameplay to things, some of which we already knew about, and yeah, some other surprises too, and one that I'm personally hyped about. Yeah, we'll start off with that and then work our way to our Xbox show predictions. Eric, why don't you kick us off here first? Was there anything that caught your attention or your eye during this latest State of Play?
Not too much. I wasn't as down on it as I guess a lot of people were. Although, I mean, there wasn't much in it that I was, that hype for. I think most of it, I think actually all of it leaked right before, like the same day.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm not really too much a fan of what I saw from. I mean, Concord looks cool for I'm sure people that like Overwatch and that type of. But it is sad that's like they continue on with that one, but not factions, which has a huge, or at least I should say a hardcore or strong fan base that like really isn't tense about it. So whereas Concord doesn't have that yet, so you would think you would at least go with the one that has a strong cult following behind it, and then it could be something bigger. Whereas this, it could just come out and just not do,
well,
who knows? But
yeah. Yeah, just to interject, I mean, I do agree that is kind of funny. I mean, they do need. I will say that PlayStation does need multiplayer experiences. They got a lot of other avenues covered, but I would say something that's glaring in their portfolio is more of their, again, online multiplayer kind of presence there. And I do agree with you, like the whole factions thing. We had talked about it before. Like, it does have a pretty hardcore base, kind of like a cult following in a way. There's already a base there for that.
Different, like factions could be that, just like because it is different in just the way like you're making materials, and it's just, especially if it had the combat like from part 2, like that would be sick. So just like Halo and Gears, completely different games. So it's just like, I'm not getting just bored with one. Like I can switch off. Whereas Concord, it might be a solid, great game, but also is it going to be able to differentiate itself to like pull people over from games that it's maybe similar to? But we'll see. But it is funny that they're big on the remakes. I mean, I can't hate on those because I never finished Until Dawn. I played a bit of it when it came out, but this would be another reason to jump in for the, I guess, remake, or I don't know how much of it's more so a remake versus like a remaster, but yeah, it always looked cool, and playing the first part of it is pretty, if you like horror movies or like slasher movies, that part was pretty cool, playing the first few minutes of it, or first hour of it. I can't remember how much I played before when it first dropped, but that, and then definitely Silent Hill 2. It's weird that they skipped 1, or I never played the original 2 or 3. I played few hours of 4. That one I liked a lot. Just whatever reason didn't finish, but yeah, that is a. I'm not sure if they gave a reason why they skipped one, like, or was one just story wise like not even worth doing. I don't know, but this one looks really cool.
I think it's because 2 is the most popular one,
Oh,
and
okay,
it's Konami.
yeah. I'm sure they'll probably do 3, or who knows? Because we thought we were gonna get Dead Space 2, but after that didn't sell. But this looks pretty cool. It's cool. That's yeah. I forgot that it's Bloober Team. So
Yeah.
this looks actually a lot better than the other game. What was the other game called they made for Game Pass?
Oh, the Medium?
Yeah, the Medium. Yep. I played some of that, but this one definitely looks up like a step above as far as just like quality, and it looks horrific. This looks definitely up my alley from all the Resident Evil and all the other Dead Space and other horror games I played. So this one will be cool. I'm not sure if it's like a full. I know obviously it's probably like at least a timed exclusive, but who knows? They probably locked this one down as well. But yeah, that one looks pretty dope. And then I'm trying to think. Oh, well, I did see Astrobot. Not a big fan of that. It is sad that Japan Studio. I remember when they were getting shut down, and like a lot of them were like, a lot of them that had been there for ages, like some of the veterans there, were sad that they were getting shut down. But a lot of their team been moved over to Team Asobi, so I guess they kind of some of them live on with that game. But it's just like.
Well,
Did we lose you?
I can't hear you, Shockley. Did you mute yourself?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, my bad. I finally got home, but stupid thing, try to pick up my Wi-Fi. So, but no, when I was saying about Japan Studio, is sad to kind of see where like all of that's just been shifted to Astrobot. It's just not appealing to me at all. At least Little Big Planet kind of has that kind of vibe, but at least that one had a lot more. I don't know, a lot more character to it. This feels kind of more like corporate. I don't know. Just doesn't have a lot of. I don't want to say soulless because this somebody else's creation, but just like it doesn't feel like Little Big Planet had like stood out. But I mean, obviously, if it's popular enough that they're seeing, dollar signs there, and that's where they're going to put it. Not so much that Japan Studios games were gang, but big sellers. But they were a big part of its identity with Ico, Shadow of the Colossus,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those games that it's like just that PlayStation 4, for the brand, what them for. Those are some the big things that made up some of their identity and just the variety that they had. So, but it's the same with when Microsoft probably shut down Fable. But yeah, I'm trying to think what one of the last games that I think it was right before the let's see here. Oh yeah. Monster Hunter Wilds. That one looks pretty good. Is that the one that was skipping Xbox and was going to go to Switch and PlayStation? Or
No,
is
it's
that
Monster Hunter Stories.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Any word on this one being exclusive, or
I don't think so.
Okay, I would imagine this would be just because it looks like graphically maybe a little bit better above like Monster Hunter World, but so I imagine it will be. I would think maybe come to Xbox. I don't know, but it looks pretty cool. For people that like that, I had the original, but if you don't have I feel like if you don't have enough friends that that play it, it kind of isn't as like it's cool to play by yourself a little bit, but hearing all the stories of people that are like hardcore in it that you could like I had friends at work, but they were like my supervisors or whatever, so they were like playing, but it's like I couldn't really get into their click because because they were like super hardcore in it. I'm like, oh, okay, that'd be cool to play with a group of people that like know what the hell they're doing in that type of game. Obviously, I guess I can go online. I'm used to that with Destiny. That's basically what you had to do to enjoy it. But it would be cool to see if this hopefully comes to Xbox. I mean, most of the other Capcom stuff, other than like stories. But
Monster Hunter
We'll see
Wilds
that.
will be available to play on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and
Okay,
PC
that's what I
via Steam.
figured. Yeah, that's why I wasn't so like bent out of shape, like for fans of Monster Hunter World that we weren't getting storage. Sure, it like sucks, but hey, Switch isn't probably going to be able to run or play this game, so it's like it is what it is. PlayStation's getting pretty much everything, but even Nintendo, as big as they are, because they had to go with the tablet to
Yeah, because this was
Get people to
initially
even-
debuted
Yeah.
at the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
you said this one was?
Mm-hmm.
well, it's gonna be
Oh, okay.
interesting with Nintendo as well in the coming weeks and months.
With yeah,
Well, I mean, the rumor.
yeah, Switch 2.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I would say the timing's right. So, yeah, I could see it. But, there's gonna be all kinds of ports. So I wouldn't be surprised if Monster Hunter's not already over there. Then yeah, it would definitely be a port of some sort.
I wonder if Switch might run into. I mean, there is that trade-off, but there is that rumor of like they might start off with go backwards and go with a LCD screen instead of the OLED, which makes sense for them financially because it'll be cheaper up front, and then they can get you to rebuy when they eventually release the OLED. But yeah, it does kind of suck that that they just might go that route as far as like going back. So it kind of sucks that they've kind of stuck themselves into this like window of we'll see if they'll get like this type of game like but yeah, that'll be intriguing just to see like whatever that next step is, and some of these games that can play on it. But yeah, overall the show was it was pretty decent. So I mean, there was at least some things that Silent Hill 2, Until Dawn remake, and that's pretty much it as far as the highlights. But I was hoping to see something Resident Evil because we've been having so many off the wall rumors of either hey it's Resident Evil 9 or hey no it's that's gonna come out in like a couple of years. It's gonna be Code Veronica or Resident Evil 0 before that or something. So I was hoping that we'd get like at least a teaser or something, but but maybe we'll get that under the Summer Game Fest because I'm sure they'll have another showcase. Not just let like Nintendo and Microsoft have their big moments in June. So hopefully they'll have something else, or at least have Jeff Keighley announce some big announcements. So.
Well,
according, yeah, I mean, decent.
Apparently, there's going to be a third-party PlayStation showcase of some sort on the 9th, I think. That's what a viewer was saying. So there's that to look forward to. I mean, there's going to be a lot of different things in the coming week, 2 weeks. Like, we're going to be spoiled, so lots and lots of things to talk about. But yeah, you're right. I mean, definitely some things here. I mean, if I was to list off some things that are notable from the State of Play for myself, I guess a couple of things really. The Until Dawn PlayStation 5 version, I guess PC as well, that's going to be coming out later in the year. So yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. I never played it on the PS4, so I wouldn't mind picking it up. And of course, Astrobot. I really liked Astrobot when I first booted up my PlayStation 5. So, and I gotta say, like I'm in the middle of playing what's that called? Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and that's actually a really fun platformer. So, if it's anything like that, they got I don't know. I'm really interested in Astrobot. I'm really in the mood to play like a really decent platformer. So September cannot come soon enough. The only issue is it's coming out September 6th, and I got Space Marine coming out, Space Marine 2 on September 9th. So I don't know when I'm going to be able to fit that in. Might have to put it off for a bit. Let's see. And Concord, I don't know. I can't, like, graphically it looks fine. I don't know if there's a lot of demand for another like 5v5 like hero shooter. I don't know. I really don't know. There's already quite a few of those out right now, and I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting seeing the banter about that game. I don't know. We'll see. It's supposed to come out in August. We'll see how it goes. Crusader, I'd love to get your thoughts on the state of play. Anything catch your eye during it?
So I didn't watch. I watched like the highlights of it because I was out. And that was the same day that they decided that Final Shape was going up on PS Plus Premium by accident early. So I was kind of mad at Sony as it was. Astrobot I think looks incredible. I can't wait for that. It gives me the same vibe. It's stylized graphics, just like
Yeah.
yes, and it looks so pretty. It is like literally PlayStation marketing the video game, but like also
Well,
it just looks like a fun 3D platformer.
yeah. I mean, I'm assuming you played the Astrobot.
Yeah, I did.
And
Yeah, I
so
platinumed it.
yeah, like I mean, I didn't platinum it, but like I liked it. I mean, it
Yeah.
surprised me with how in depth it was. To be honest with you.
You can miss me with all the VR stuff they showed. I couldn't even tell you what VR stuff they showed. I don't care. I do not like VR. I'm quite excited for that. Otherwise, I didn't think the show was very good. Concord was a huge disappointment to me because I was really excited for another FPS game, and then literally anything but a hero shooter.
I was surprised. I was surprised.
I was like, what?
Like for because this is like Firewalk.
I don't know what they've made.
I think. Oh man, like they're a small indie studio. I think it's on the tip of my tongue. It's on the tip of my tongue. Chat, chime in if you know what it is. What other game they made? It's just not coming to me right now. But I was kind of surprised that they went with like the small like hero shooter route.
Yeah.
Cause like I saw it, I'm like, okay, well, graphically, I mean, if this sticks to what it is, and it's coming out fairly soon, like in August, so that's the good thing. But I just don't see the appetite for it personally. And,
yeah, I'm not really very excited for it.
And like we had people in the chat asking, "Oh, is it free to play or is it like a full price game?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm pretty sure it's full price."
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like unless they give the game away, like on PS Plus, I don't know. I don't know how many people you're going to be really seeing playing that. I didn't see a whole lot of energy about it. I mean, okay, yeah, there's some people, but I don't know. In order to keep a game like that alive, you need like a lot of bodies playing that. So I was kind of surprised when I saw that, to be honest.
What was really weird was like they showed it and Marvel Rivals at the same showcase, which I totally understand why Destiny 2's launch trailer did not debut at this event, because that would have been 3 live service shooter games at the same event, and Destiny can carry its own weight. So like totally get why they didn't put that there, because like people were like, why wasn't that? Like, why didn't Sony use this as a marketing thing? And I'm like, because it can market itself, and it would have been too densely at like shooter service game. But it was really weird that they had 2 hero shooters at the same event. Like they're sure one's third person Marvel characters, the other one's first person whatever kind of discount Marvel characters. But like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Not really excited for that at all. Was really hoping for like a sci-fi kind of like, I don't want to say call it like Call of Duty Halo-ish kind of arena shooter, and this is not it.
Yeah. I mean, what I would like to see them do is I just want them to have, okay, I mean, they have like these really grand games like Destiny, obviously. And that's very competitive. However, I would like to see them do more, like, again, bring back like a Resistance type of a game,
Yep.
or I mean, I know you're gonna be with me on that,
Yep.
or even
I loved Resistance 3.
yeah, or I mean, okay, maybe you might not be as much into this, or like I always had a soft spot for Killzone, for example. I'm just talking about
I did
yeah,
not like those games. I really didn't like the PS4 one.
right,
The
right.
second and third one were okay.
Oh, Shadowfall, yeah.
Shadowfall was bad, man.
Um, but like it would be nice to see, like, kind of like we're hearing about Gears of War. It would be nice to see like a Resistance collection or something with like updated multiplayer, just something like that. That would really excite me personally. I think you get a lot of people actually talking about that. Grimes, I know Grimes is kind of busy tonight, but yeah, he has the same love for Killzone as well. Oh, and SOCOM, yeah, he brings up a good point.
Yeah, SOCOM would be a great one.
Yeah, they have a plethora of like competitive, semi-competitive stuff that they could bring back. It's just they got different strategies right now. Actually, they did have a lot of stuff in development, like kind of like multiplayer MMO wise, but they've kind of downsized that, right? So
well, they didn't downsize. They got rid of a couple of them, but then they also like they didn't cancel. Like people are like, oh, they canceled 6 of the 12 that they were going to put out. No, they moved 6 of them out of the fiscal year by fiscal year 2025, and they canceled 2 that we
right.
knew of.
True. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see in the coming times, but yeah, I mean, as far as this state of play goes, I can't really say I was very excited. Again, it was just a state of play, like a smaller kind of like a bite-sized thing, but I mean, I do appreciate that they do them. I really do like how Nintendo does their thing too, and so on. I just like you said, Crusader. Like there wasn't really a whole lot. Like there was some PSVR stuff that really didn't catch me. A lot of the third-party stuff didn't grab me either that they had. Like I know in the chat there was some talk about Infinity Nikki, and I'm like, okay, well, it looks kind of nice art style wise, but yeah, I mean, I would say that Astrobot was a clear winner here, and then you had a lot of chatter about either Concord or Silent Hill remake. So
Yeah, and see, whatchamacallit, what's the ARPG? Pillars of Eternity. No. Path of Exile. Path of Exile.
Yes.
They're both PoE, and I have to remember which one's which in my brain.
Right.
Path of Exile is a game that is for me. I've been kind of waiting for Path of Exile 2 for like a while now, and it looks good again. It's just that like I kind of am in this just kind of waiting for it cycle. So, 'cause I really like those style of games. They're looter games are my jam.
That's your bread and butter, is it?
Yes.
All right.
One of the genres that is like my jam. So like that was cool. There was another ARPG that I think they showed there that I can't quite remember what it was called.
Let's see. What else did they have here? Where Winds Meet, Dynasty Warriors Origins, Ballad of Antara.
I think it was that one. Maybe.
Possibly. A couple of these I'm not as familiar about, guys. That's why I'm not, like, bringing them up. But, I mean, I did see them pop up anyways. Like, again, they did have games there. Just, and there wasn't, like, a lot that kind of grabbed me personally.
It felt like they wanted to have an event during event season.
Well, a lot of people were...
This is what they put out.
Yeah, and it was right at the end of the month. Like, literally, like, basically the last day, right? Or second last. So, yeah. And then Panda in the chat, never Bloodborne. Yeah, I mean... I don't know. Like, I would imagine that there is something Bloodborne in the pipes, but... Just gotta wait, my friend. Just gotta wait. But yeah, guys, I mean, not a whole lot else to really digest with this state of play. We just it is what it is, kind of a thing. at least from my perspective. Is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on before moving on?
I would give it a C+ with Astrobot. Without Astrobot, D-. Then the D- is they showed games.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I will say, it was really cool, and this has nothing to really do with PlayStation itself, like as the console, but the PC port of Ragnarok. One of the big things they advertised in it was it's going to have FSR 3, DLSS 3, and XeSS, which is Intel's upscaler, and like it's going to have all the upscalers day one, right? Like that's awesome. We need to see that from more companies, right? That when you're putting your game on PC, you support the cool, good upscaling technologies. Please and thank you.
Yeah, well, it's nice to definitely have that. It's coming out this year, right? I forget the date.
Yeah, it's coming out this year. I think it's this fall, maybe later this summer. I don't quite remember.
All right. Again, like I welcome that their games going on to PC. Doesn't bother me one bit. I know Grimez has been enjoying that. Who knows? I might pick up God of War on PC. We shall see. But then again, I have a PlayStation 5 anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. I just like having the options, right? So, but yeah, guys, that was the state of play. Not really a whole lot to dissect there, but Concord is definitely a swing and a miss from the looks of it, unfortunately, but time will tell as far as the reactions go. But yeah, definitely some love for Astrobot, clear winner there with Silent Hill 2 Remake getting some, definitely a lot of talk for various reasons. And yeah, you know, there's a few things there. But yeah, guys, in the chat, again, it's great to have you all here. Thank you for joining us tonight. I know we're a little short-staffed, but it's always great to be here, just, you know, chatting, talking games and whatnot. If you haven't done so already, please consider smashing the like button, subbing to the channel if you're a new face here. We definitely love having you here. And yeah, of course, sharing the show out on social media, because, yeah, we would love to have more awesome people here with us tonight. All right. Yeah, guys, why don't we just move on? And, you know, we're going to spend probably a little more time on this one. It's the Xbox Showcase predictions. I know you guys have been waiting for that. It's always fun talking about the predictions. I know I always have a lot of fun. Can be a little tricky, though, right? Trying to figure out where things are. But it's always fun, in my opinion. And as I'm sure many of you are already aware, yeah, Xbox's show is next Sunday, their games showcase, and we're anticipating to see stuff that we've already seen, plus possibly some new stuff. I mean, I would say that's a given, but we shall see. Xbox is pretty loaded as far as games go that we know that they have in the pipeline, but there's always some kind of surprises during these things. Now, naturally, we have an idea of what we'll be showing off, but tell you what, Crusader, why don't you do us the honor here of just kind of leading us off on this one?
Yep.
Like, what do you believe will be showing off this year? I know that, you know, you've created a lot of threads on various social media, so, and I know that obviously you keep in touch with, like, again, the leaks and rumors of things, and, you know, I know you have a lot of fun with it. But please, like, what do you think? What, in your opinion, do you think we'll see at this year's Xbox Showcase?
All right, let's start with first party, and let's start with what basically I think has more than a 95% chance to be there. And we'll start with the guaranteed one. Call of Duty. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has an entire event at the afterwards, and it'll probably have like a 30-second trailer in the event, like Starfield did last year, to say, "Hey, after the show, come watch this." For the people who aren't as in tuned, you know, but see that the event's going on. Avowed kind of has to be there, launching this year. Indiana Jones kind of has to be there, launching this year. Towerborn, as long as it's still launching this year, I think it kind of has to be there. Even if it's not launching this year and it's launching early next year, I think it has to be there.
Right.
Age of Mythology Retold, same thing. It's supposed to be launching this fall. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. It's the first expansion for Diablo 4. It's supposed to launch. It was supposed to launch this summer, but they delayed some of the season, so I have a feeling it's gonna launch this fall, winter. I think we see it there. Starfield Shattered Space, guaranteed to be there.
Yes.
I think you can guarantee Shattered Space will be there. Flight Sim 2024. It's supposed to come out this year. It's 2024.
Yes.
Aura History Untold. It's supposed to come out this year. That being said, with both Aura and Age of Mythology, I could see them having their each one or both having their own little show, and it not being here, and then in an interview they'll go, "Oh, Age of Mythology, yeah, that it's gonna have its own little event later this summer, right?" Just because those are like one well, I guess Age of Mythology is coming out on console, but like Aura is gonna be PC only at launch, so I could see that one slipping out of the showcase. Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road, I think you can guarantee that's gonna be here because that's launching out afterwards. World of Warcraft: The War Within, because BlizzCon was canceled this year.
Yes.
I think that the next expansion for Warcraft could show up here. And if it doesn't, I would expect it to have its own direct later this summer. Same thing with World of Warcraft Cataclysm, though I've been told specifically by people to not expect the Classic to show up at the showcase at all. Let's see. Do I have any more first party? I don't have any more first party that I think are guaranteed, so I'm going to swap over
What
to...
about, if I may interject, what about Clockwork Revolution?
Oh, so I don't consider that one... Like, at this point, because they started a marketing campaign, I think it's almost guaranteed, but this is literally just because these are launching this year, right? Like, that was the first part of my, like...
No, of course.
These are... I think Clockwork's an early next year game, and I will we can mention that now. Clockwork started a really weird advertising campaign the other day where like it was a tweet, but the tweet was like out of order with other tweets, which makes sense because the game's all about time and like fucking up time and like changing the timeline by going back and forward and backwards. And so they're ramping up that. I wasn't actually expecting it to be here originally, but now I am because that marketing campaign is kind of starting for it. Third-party games that I expect to be here because of launch dates. Arc 2 is supposed to launch this fall. I would expect it to be here. And it's on Game Pass day one. Replaced? Does anyone remember the game Replaced?
Yeah.
I expect Replaced to be here. Stalker 2 is launching this fall, has a date in September.
Yeah.
I'd expect it to be here. Metaphor ReFantazio, if it's not here, it's at Jeff Keighley's show because it's launching this year. But it has marketing with Xbox, but Xbox like could also have a different Atlas game, which I'll get to. Visions of Mana, which is the Square Enix Mana game that's coming to Xbox that Xbox had at their developer direct, which was weird. I would expect it to be shown here again. Flintlock Siege of Dawn was a hack and slash. I don't think it's a Souls-like. People say it's a Souls-like. It doesn't look like one because it doesn't look like the same kind of style. It looks more like a hack and slash ARPG. That's going to be day one on Game Pass. That's coming out this fall. I would think it's going to be here. I think we finally get Silksong, baby!
Yeah.
Everyone's been going crazy over Hollow Knight Silksong for years. I'm ready to put on the clown makeup and it not be here, but like the page went live on Xbox a few months ago. I'd expect it to be here. Now for candidates based on like rumors or marketing, yeah, that's where I'd put the Clockwork Revolution. It has like weird marketing starting. Gears Next, I'd expect the next Gears of War to be shown here just because a bunch of people said that it probably would be. And it's been a while since the Coalition has shown anything. I don't know when it'll launch, but I would think it's going to be here. And then I would say pick one or two of Perfect Dark, State of Decay 3, and South of Midnight, with South of Midnight being the one that I had actually not expect to be here personally. I think both Perfect Dark and State of Decay 3 have a good chance of being here. And then some personal predictions. If Metaphor ReFantazio is shown on Friday at Jeff Keighley's show, then I personally expect Persona 6 to be debuted at the Xbox Showcase. It could be the other way around, though. Metaphor could be shown at the Xbox Showcase, and Persona 6 could be debuted at Jeff's show. But I would personally expect... I personally think that like the rumor is that Persona 6 main's color is green. I don't think Xbox is going to miss the chance to get that marketing under wrap, because that would be really big, because like this would be the first time that they'd have like a major new release from a major Japanese company, like a really big one. Metaphor ReFantasio is like what was like the biggest they had previously, in my opinion, in recent years. But having the massive franchise, the massive popular franchise that is Persona, and getting to announce not like a remake or a remaster, but actually the next game would be huge. And if it's green, it just kind of is synergistic, like with the branding and things like that. I just think that that would be something that they'd go after. And like that sounds ridiculous that, oh, it's green, but no, like that, like marketers look at shit like that. I really think that that would be a big choice for Xbox. I really think they show something Final Fantasy related. Likely 16, in my opinion.
Right.
Is like the baseline. You know, there's the PC version has been like informally announced. Like they keep talking about like how like what they're doing with the PC version. They're gonna look for other platforms after that. I think you see the PC version formally announced at the Xbox show with an Xbox version committed after it. Does that make sense? I don't think they come at the same time, but I think you see the commitment that 16 will come to Xbox. I think you also, because in Square Enix's most recent financial report, they were talking about their HD segment of games.
Yes.
And they included the Pixel remasters in their HD segment and said that like the Pixel remasters have been doing really well for them. I think you could see the Pixel remasters also show up on Xbox. I actually, if I was a betting man, I actually think that like those could even be a Game Pass title. I don't think 16 would be. I don't like a 7 rebirth or remake. I don't think those would be, but I think that like a good kind of like the Pixel remasters would be a good target for Microsoft to go after for Game Pass.
Right.
There'll definitely be a section related to Game Pass and the Activision Blizzard content. I think if there isn't, there is a problem. We are at the point where the back catalog needs to start appearing on Game Pass. Am I wrong in saying that, anyone? We need the back catalog of Activision Blizzard content, like the Spyros, the Crashes, the Prototype.
Yeah.
Those need to start hitting Game Pass, right? Am I wrong in saying that?
Well, it's pretty obvious that they're reserving them for a special occasion, or at least the first batch, anyways, right?
Right.
So.
They really need to get that and get it. I thought we would have had more of it by now. Like I thought they were going to do a couple drops throughout the spring here, and we've had Diablo, right? Which isn't a bad thing. Diablo 4 did really well on Game Pass. It's just that like I really think that they need to go into that. I think you see a new controller with the kind of haptics like PlayStation has.
Oh yeah.
That was I forget what the code name for it was, but that was leaked during the FTC documents, and I think you see that this year. They said they had interesting hardware stuff for the fall.
Yes.
I would love now we're in the what I would like, not my expectations, but what I would want to see. What would make me extremely happy would be like, even if it's not coming out this year, them to announce they're working on a handheld. Like, I don't need it to come out this year. Don't need it to even come out next year. I just want them to go, yeah, guess what? We're making an Xbox handheld. Stop asking us about it. Does that make sense? Like I want that. Like that's the kind of thing that makes me feel better about their like the hardware situation. I think we might get the all digital Xbox Series X. If we do that, again, another thing that would make me feel a lot better about their hardware situation is they like, yeah, we have the all digital one, but don't worry, here's a USB hard drive for it, right? Like something like that.
Yeah.
That makes me feel, because they're like, even if they're not going to continue making physical games into the future, it would make me feel a lot better, because I own a lot of physical games. There's a lot of games that you can only play on the consoles physically now because of delisting. So they really do need to continue to support that. And Phil in interviews had said that they were going to support that. Not that like his word means anything to me anymore, but I really want to see them come out and be like, yeah, if they're showing off an all-digital console. And what would make me ecstatic is if they were like, oh yeah, and the Series S and even maybe back to the Xbox One S, since it's all kind of the same operating system underneath them all. It would be really cool if like the Series S and 1S would also support like a plug-in disc tray. You know what I mean? Like a USB disc reader.
Yes.
That would make me again. That's the kind of stuff like if they do that, then like I feel better about the physical situation, like the physical hardware. Not even physical games. I don't really physical games. I have some that I can only play if I have the physical copy. But like these are the kind of things, the small things that they can do now that would give me some level of okay, they are investing and we're seeing some results right now kind of stuff. Contraband, I think, is a good chance of being here. It's been a while since we've seen Contraband. And what's wild to think about is the amount of first-party games I listed is wild.
There's lots.
And most of what I listed is likely to come out in the next 18 months, right? Gears of War, I don't know if it's in the next 18 months. That's like the one game I don't know. Same with like South of Midnight or Perfect Dark. But like there's a lot of games that Xbox has slated for the next 18 months, which is why I'm not necessarily betting on like a Fable being there. Even though Xbox kind of teased it the other day, maybe sort of kind of. With a response that they responded to someone about like farm animals. Maybe a farm animal will be there, maybe not. You'll have to tune in to find out. Like the chickens in Fallout, or not in Fallout, in Fable are a big thing. And so like it's really hard for me to say that like because I would love to say Fable's going to be there, but even if Fable wasn't, like there's so many games that are going to be there that are going like all of them are games I want to play, which is wild to think about. And it's like, I don't know where they draw the line because they can't just show all first-party stuff, which is another like thing that you think about in your head. They have to show some stuff from their third parties. Like they have to, in order to, they use some of their marketing power to placate third parties. It's like all of the first parties do this, and they show off games that their partners are making. It's part of the power of their platform. And so they could have an entire like 2-hour showcase for the next like 3 years of games, and it just be first party stuff. And it's why some things like, of what I listed, 2/3 could be there, and it would still be the greatest show Xbox has ever put on from a first party perspective, and probably just in general. And like that's wild. That's really wild. Like when you think about like their lineup, it's kind of crazy. One last game that I think it's either going to be at the Xbox event or it'll be at Jeff Keighley's event. More likely Jeff Keighley's, but is Dragon Age Dreadwolf. I think you definitely see that next weekend. I just don't know which event. Like you definitely see it next weekend. People are asking in chat about Project Maverick, the People Can Fly game. That is not canceled. That actually is in full development.
Yeah.
We just learned from People Can Fly that it's reached its like peak capacity of developers working on it. That's not going to be here. I highly doubt.
I mean, the problem is they have so much to show already.
Yeah, like how do you fit in? Like I really don't think outside of maybe 1 or 2 games they tease anything new that isn't coming in the next 18 months.
So,
right? Like, if there's a Forza coming out in the next 18 months, like a Forza Horizon, they'll show that. But, like, I don't think that they have the space at this show to show things that are coming out more than 2 years in advance. I think you'll see, like, something like that at the Game Awards.
And yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I'm really happy to like say this. Oh, because it sounds like they're about to start hitting like. Because remember, you and me, we go back about them like the timings of their releases, right? Because
it was really bad during COVID that they announced things that were like 5 years out. And I think they're at the point where the opposite is true, where like it would be really cool for them to tease the next Halo game, right? But
Yeah.
do they have the slot to tease the next Halo game?
Well, you see, that's the question with a few things, because I think you listed off a whole bunch of stuff that is very reasonable and well
And it's all
thought out.
close, right? Like it's all like these things are coming out in like 2 years.
But that's the thing. It's like, well, it sounds like they're being a little more like, they really want to get fast tracked on like the next Halo, for example, with 343. So, I mean, could there be anything Halo related? They could surprise us, but I mean, it's more likely that, I mean, they'll focus on Gears of War related announcements, I would imagine, like the next Gears of War 6, or even, the rumored, maybe real Gears of War collection, who knows?
I have it on good authority that's not going, that like you shouldn't expect the Gears of War collection at this event.
All right.
I have it on good authority not to expect that.
All right, and that's fair.
I don't think it's real.
I mean, it could just be a
Personally,
fan, wish list kind of a thing, right? Obviously.
I don't think that the Gears collection is real, which is a shame because I think that would be a really good thing.
It would
especially
make
for
sense.
PC, which doesn't have 2 and 3.
It would make sense because of the plethora of modes and I mean,
We have the Oblivion remake that is supposedly in development at Virtuous. Like we know that was at least some point it being budgeted and considered at
you know
ZeniMax.
what?
So it's like a legit leak from Microsoft itself, right? There's the Oblivion remake, remaster. It's like a remake of the graphics, remaster of the rest of the content. It's like Unreal Engine visuals on top of Creation Engine. And the same thing was true with like Fallout 3, I believe.
I could see both.
3?
I could, you know what? I could see at least, I could see both happening, but at least one of them being announced, to be honest with you.
Sure, and like that's the kind of thing where it's like, do they need to show that here? Could that just show up at QuakeCon later this year? That's something that like they could even like those kind of things, like, because like that's the kind of thing that I could see as like a multi-platform, and I have zero problem with it, and I would have expected it in the first place because that's kind of like the Quake remasters, where like those just ended up everywhere. They're not really new games.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff where it's like, is that at this event? Could that be at Jeff Keighley's? Could that be at QuakeCon later this year? Right? Like, there's a lot of places that could be put.
Yes.
Because, like, those don't need huge marketing campaigns.
Yeah. And, it's one of those things where are we going to have, like, an EXO event of some sort,
Yeah. It's really hard to be like, this is where this is going to be, this is where that's going to be, because... Like, I think if it's launching this year, it has to be at this show, or it has to have its own direct, like an RTS.
Yeah, because I think you'll see something, because they always have something like Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, that kind of thing. So I could see like some content for those, but I think you would get a lot of eyes on you if you had like again an Oblivion announcement. So.
I think, and another thing, I don't think any individual game gets more than like 5 minutes at this showcase.
Oh, there's too much. There's too much.
There's too much for they have too much to show internally, let alone with third party. To have like the Forza Horizon 5 like 12 minutes of demo, right?
No.
I don't think they can do that. So like one of my expectations is that like this is a really well-paced tight event like last year. Last year was a really well-paced tight event. It was just one game after another. Phil came out and talked for like 2 minutes. Sarah talked for like 2 minutes. I think that's the same thing happens this year, and then Call of Duty will have the huge deep dive at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only game that's like a new thing that's really far off might be like the One More Thing.
Now, okay, so there's a couple of stragglers, I will say. Everwild. Anything?
Ooh, I don't know. Jazz has said that game still exists, and I don't know. I don't know if we see it or not.
I mean, I know that they've been through a couple of game direct. Like, it's not a good when it comes to that game. Don't get me wrong. I wish it well. I just think that the actual vision for that game has changed drastically. So, we'll see. We'll see on that one. I don't think it will be there. It's just...
I don't think you see all of the missing 4, because what the missing 4 is State of Decay,
Contraband,
Perfect Dark, and Everwild. I don't think we see Everwild.
I
think they still. I think that one's still in the. We don't see it. I think that's the furthest game off. Still, personally, of those 4.
Mm-hmm.
Power World could have some news. That could also be at Jeff Keighley's show, because that's kind of the thing, right? Power World.
Oh, it was big. So
it was big. They don't like, but you know, that's one of those things where like, does Microsoft show it at its own show, or do they just slap some branding, like Game Pass branding, on it in conjunction with them, and like have it put at Jeff Keighley's show? Because like they don't own that company.
No.
But like that's one of the things where like they could be like, okay, well, you know, we will upfront the cost to have it shown at Jeff Keighley's show. All you need to do is throw a Game Pass thing at the end of it, like a Game Pass like logo at the end of it, and then it's put there, and then Xbox has some like beginning to control the I don't want to say the press, but you know, like they're in the news cycle starting on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Power World's one of the things where I could see that being a Jeff show.
Yeah. But I could see, just because I know like chat saying, yo, they already made a lot of news at the beginning of the year. Well,
they've been confirmed to be at quote Summer Game Fest. It's not confirmed what Summer Game, because Xbox's event is technically part of Summer Game Fest as a whole.
Yeah.
So it's not confirmed as to what event Power World will be at, but I know they're showing something at Summer Game Fest.
Even though they don't own the IP or the company or whatever, I mean, they're still related to that.
Yeah.
Like, they want that association, so of course they want to announce, you know, whatever content, whatever, you know, is getting included, new additions, and so on to the access.
And then we also have to think, like, Xbox will be at Gamescom this year. I can almost guarantee it. And then you have to think, like, normally the Gamescom event is pretty lame. And, like, this year I'm like, well, like, is it actually going to be lame this year? Or is it going to be like, oh, hey, we have so much to show off that we have to show off more stuff?
Well, that makes sense, because, again, like, who's to say that Fable can't be shown off at Gamescom, right? And give it some breathing room.
That's the thing where it's like, there's so many games, like Fable is probably of like, I think it's coming out next year.
Yeah, I would agree.
But if it's coming out like October, November, December of next year, does it need to be at the Xbox show this summer when they have so much shit to show us this summer, right? And it's like where that's where like there's so many like. They would have to like not show 50% of the stuff that I listed for me to have any form of disappointment.
Well, keep in mind too, like, you know, there's still other games that like we still haven't talked about. Like, for example, Project Mara. I mean, obviously Ninja Theory just released Hellblade 2, but Project Mara, you know, it's been in development for a few years as well.
We have Project Suerte at Certain Affinity, which is supposed to be a Monster Hunter like game.
IO Interactive's game.
There's IO Interactive's Project Dragon, which we're not sure if Xbox, like, we're not sure exactly how that, like, to what capacity Xbox is involved in with it. It's because like no one has like they won't comment on the platforms it's coming to, and that's one of those things where it's like I think Xbox is going to move with its third-party publishing to publishing them on all platforms.
Right.
Whether, you know, and that's one of those things where I'm like, if they were to ease us into the concept of them going multi-platform, the place they should have started with is their global publishing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, go ahead and port Quantum Break, in my opinion, to other platforms.
Yeah.
Because, like, I would love to see Remedy actually get to use the characters and stuff from that IP. So, like, I think Xbox, and I think that would be beneficial to Xbox fans too, because I think it would be way easier for them to form deals with third parties if the game could be everywhere, because then the third party is less restricted, right? Because it's one thing if Xbox owns the company, but it's another thing if they're just trying to partner with a third-party company. And like that's that's where I was like, this is where they should have targeted to grow into multi-platform first, because it's the logical step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a couple. What was the one with the Brass Lion Studios project?
Oh.
Shaolin, the Wu-Tang Clan game.
Right.
We haven't seen that yet.
I know, Tim was talking about that game for the longest time.
Yeah.
We still haven't, even got an official announcement for that, so...
There's a lot of, like, old project names that, I know Project Vonnegut has been canceled.
Oh, right, because wasn't that with,
It was with the one devs that, like, they imploded.
Yeah.
And the owners went, like, fully batshit online and blamed the devs for speaking to reporters for the closure of their studio. When, like, it was clear that they were in a financial hellscape. And, but supposedly they had a Shadowrun reboot.
Yeah, that's right. That would have been cool. What about, did you see Toys for Bob, their little announcement?
I think based on the message, I think that was kind of announced in that way so that we wouldn't expect them at the showcase.
Right.
I think that's why that was announced, because they specifically said, like, you probably won't hear from us again for a long time. And I think that's probably so people wouldn't be like, where are they? Right? I think that was some kind of subtle expectation setting there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't expect them.
I mean, obviously, we'll see Indiana Jones. That's a no-brainer there. New Doom. The Doom game, I would assume.
I expect a ton of indies.
Yeah.
I expect some, like, weird, cool indies. They always show up with some weird, cool indies. It's really, really hard to... Because, like, normally you'd think, like, 30% of the show is Xbox and the rest is third party. That's how these event works. Like, that's how all of these events work, right? Like, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Well, Nintendo's a little bit more skewed towards them. But, normally the first-party events, they have the largest representation is from first-party, but it's not the majority. This event feels like they have so much to show that even if they didn't show most of what I said, it would still be the majority of the show. You know what I mean? Like, it'd still be over 50%. So, like, it's really hard to, like, for me to guess what third parties will be there and, like, what they'll have time to show.
And I guess, I mean, we still haven't really seen, like, you look at the ZeniMax Online studio, and I don't think they've announced anything yet.
They have not. When they acquired them, they were like, they have another MMO in development, and that's all they said. So I don't know if we see their next MMO or not.
Yeah, and I know that those things take time. I get that, a little longer than some others. That being said, I mean, again, they've been pretty silent. We don't know.
I think that, like, I will come out no matter what is shown. If they announce that the backwards compatibility program is getting rebooted in any capability, I will come out with an A+ for the event. You can quote that here.
Hey, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that 110%. So. And
I will also commit to this. If they reboot that, I'll give away 3 months of Game Pass in chat.
Did you hear that?
Straight up. I will be so happy. I will be so happy. So I will give it away in our chat. I will just toss a code into chat at some point during the show next week. Guaranteed. Straight. You can quote me on that. People clip this.
Guys,
quote me on it.
Spread the word.
I really want the backwards compatibility program back. And, like, they created that, like, compatibility team within Microsoft. We know Hasbro wants the Transformers games to be relicensed and come back. We know that Microsoft and Obsidian and Sega and GOG worked to get Alpha Protocol back on PC. And there's a lot of Activision games that haven't been brought back that, like, Activision didn't really have a real financial incentive to bring them back. But under Microsoft, that calculus is kind of different because they become, like, content for Game Pass.
Right.
They become a PR statement, right? Because Microsoft needs some good PR statements right now, right? They need the show to be good to kind of get people to forget why we're mad at them about Tango and stuff like that. And the backwards compatibility program is another example of we are really committed to our ecosystem, and this is how we can prove it to you today, right? And even if they don't have any games to put in the backwards compatibility system, if they go, hey, we are reopening it, we're not going to have batches quite like the last time, but like when we can relist the game, we are going to relist the game. Like, that's all I need.
I would say as long as they have the interest and saying, hey guys, we're working on it.
Yeah, because it is hard. Licensing things aren't easy to overcome. Incompatibilities aren't easy things to overcome. But if they straight up say, hey, we're keeping the door open forever, and like if we can do something, we will just do it and you will get it. That's what I want to hear. That's all I want to hear. Thimber, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance has always showed up in the Xbox store because you can claim, like, if you owned it digitally at one point, you can download it. That was misinformation for online. It was never not in the store.
I mean,
that was something I was really excited about when I saw, and then I realized it was not fake news, but incorrect.
I would say, since they seem to be high on this project, what do you think are the chances of Kojima's OD being there?
I have no idea. That game is gonna be weird.
It's gonna be weird.
It's just gonna be Kojima nonsense, I think it's gonna be kind of similar to Quantum Break, where it's like part movie, part like.
I agree. Yes.
Like, it's gonna be all kinds of strange.
And I think it's gonna have like different, like, because obviously there's gonna be like a lot of like I think they've already teased it, different like filmmakers involved with it as well.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a different beast on its own. I think it'll take it's gonna take some time. To be honest, I don't expect it to be there.
Yeah, I don't expect it to be there either.
But I will throw this out there though. Banjo.
I would love for a Banjo to be there. I would adore a Banjo to be there.
Yeah. I mean, I scream that because I would, I every year I'm like, I gotta have a banjo, because that's why I get excited about games like what we were just talking about, Astrobot, for example. Very simple game, but I love platformers, right? 3D platformers to be exact, and I would just love to see Banjo back, and
I think that's like something that's really missing in Microsoft's wheelhouse right now. Is like 3D platformers, like a family-friendly kind of stuff. Like they had Hi-Fi Rush, but like it's not like we're getting a second one. Like they really need that kind of like to attract the young audience kind of game. Like they have Minecraft, but like they don't really leverage Minecraft in combination with Xbox, right? Like they own it, but they don't really like use it to push. Like they don't like associate it with the Xbox brand as strongly as they would need to attract like the youngest generation to Xbox stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I think that's something that Microsoft needs to address, is like the family friendly stuff, and I think Banjo would be a good way to do it. Would we see Banjo here? I don't know. I think that the Toys for Bob is going to help address that in the future, but that's not going to be anytime soon. Like, you know, they just starting the development of whatever game.
Well, the problem is now they have so many platforming IP like Crash, like Spyro, Banjo, and there's obviously a plethora of others. Some to a lesser degree in name, and it's just like, well, they need more than one developer to work on them, right? So
yeah. Like Psychonauts is a good example from Grimes in chat. The problem I have with Psychonauts is, again, the last one we got isn't really associated very well with the Xbox brand. because it was everywhere, because it was a crowdsourced game before it was.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Double Fine. If Double Fine could show up here and just show something strange.
Yes,
I have
actually,
no idea what they're working on.
Actually, that would be you're absolutely correct because nobody's talking about Double Fine. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, anything
Because Double
else?
Fine could be making the next family-friendly thing, but also be like the strangest thing you've ever seen, right? God, I would die if it was Brutal Legend 2 or a Brutal Legend remake. Oh.
Ooh, that would be very interesting. All right, I know Shockley's waiting patiently. Anything else, Crusader?
All I got. If I think of anything, I'll spout it at the end.
All right, Eric, why don't we get you chiming in on this? Like again, you've heard some of my thoughts. Obviously, Crusaders. Again, this is it's a pretty exciting thing doing these prediction shows. We're only less than a week away now, really. I don't know. What would you like to see at the Xbox showcase? What's something that you'd really like them to have there for you? Eric?
If you're there, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Yes, we can. I can hear you.
That is so weird. On Wi-Fi, you can't hear me. The second I take it off Wi-Fi, we're good. All right. I don't know, but good thing you hear me now. But yeah, probably one I'm most hopeful to see something because we really haven't seen anything. We've just heard stories. That would be Perfect Dark. Just so people could kind of like shut up about like because there's a new rumor. It seems like every couple months where it's like this is terrible or hey, everything's going good, and just if we at least see something, then we can kind of see, oh, okay, the team up between them and Crystal Dynamics, that's working. This looks great. So hopefully that's what we get. Definitely hoping we get some news from the coalition, especially after we got Hellblade. Just kind of that taste of like what Unreal Engine 5 could do, so we know how talented Coalition is when using that. So definitely hopeful we'll get maybe something from them, or at least some type of teaser where they're kind of taking the and how they were going to deal with the choice that you had to make at the end, which was maybe in hindsight probably not the best idea, but we'll see if they can kind of land that. But yeah, hopefully those two, and trying to think of any others that I'm maybe most looking forward to. I think those two would be it. But I am maybe this one's just out there, Killer Instinct, but but that's probably like super not gonna happen. But those would be
cool.
like
That'd be really cool.
That would be cool. That'd be out of left field, but yeah, I don't know who would do it, but I don't know if they can get Namco on it or somebody. But yeah, I mean the thing about it on this one, I feel like I want to say like everything's gonna be there, but like there's no way that's gonna happen. But you just have the feeling like State of Decay has to be there, like something. Obviously, I don't think we'll hear anything from Rare, other than if they happen to be, they're pumping out Sea of Thieves like updates, and obviously that did well on PlayStation. So I don't know. But yeah, Avowed, I don't think there's a chance. But it would be cool to see if one of the other devs from Activision, obviously Toys for Bob is doing the partnership, but maybe that would be too early to, unless, yeah, because all of them were working on Call of Duty, so I think that would be, none of them would have like anything cooking.
So there is a rumored like sci-fi MMO from Infinity Ward back from before they were acquired. I don't know how valid that is. I've never done a lot of research into it. I know that it was credibly said like 2 years ago, but I don't know what like if it still exists, if it ever existed. But like that maybe.
maybe we could get a WoW on console. I don't know, but that's that's about the only thing I would think we'd see from Activision this early. But yeah, I mean that would be a big announcement. All you'd be, I mean, obviously it's probably a bigger feat than how I'm saying it, but all you have to do is, the game's already there. Just find a way to make it work, like they did Diablo for console.
You can actually
I
play it
never
on
thought that
console
would.
right now with GeForce Now. You
Oh,
can play
okay.
it through the web browser.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, there you go. But yeah, I think we'll see a lot from Bethesda with Machine Games, with Indiana Jones. Trying to think, maybe like you were mentioning, like the Elder Scrolls remake. Definitely, what I'm probably most actually looking forward to is seeing this Doom game, but also seeing that announcement. If hopefully just all those rumors were just completely wrong, as far as like where it's going. It will be interesting though if that game is announced for PlayStation at the Xbox show. Because I think they do that regularly for. Do they do that for like when they announce like stuff that's like Minecraft and stuff?
No, they don't.
Logo?
PlayStation has never showed, like, the name has never showed up at the event.
Xbox show. Okay.
We're curious with Call of Duty and like all the new, like, their multi-platform strategy, if they will put the PlayStation logo on stuff. I actually don't see why they wouldn't at this point with Call of Duty at a minimum. But
yeah, it would be at least interesting. I don't know if on the last show they were saying like how they always used to do, like they would say exclusive, like when a game's premiering.
I don't think we see that at all.
I don't even know if they do that really, but I don't know if they did that at the last one. But yeah, hopefully we at least get some. It'd be weird to see just Doom, like a new IP from id, going to PlayStation, and then we don't hear about any other game. Because it would be such a weird rollout of like which games are going, which games are not. You would think you would keep the Doom game exclusive, and then at least for a bit, and then Starfield or other games that are older now or will eventually be. Like at least that would still be in my mind terrible, but that would at least make more sense. Get some of the, hey, people want to play this game day one or just play it in general on your platform and not PC, and then bring it over to PlayStation. But because sure, our people could wait on games, but eventually some of these games are gonna make you get on the console, like when a new Elder Scrolls drops, or some games people can't wait for. So but it'll be interesting to see what happens with that game, with all the rumors of it being like, yep, it's coming to PlayStation day one. But obviously we'll see. Trying to think what else from Bethesda, other than because everybody else dropped a game. Yeah, and Blade would be too early because they just showed us like that little snippet. But yeah, I think that would be pretty much it from them. Obviously, I think we'd see probably more on Avowed to see if because that's going to be later in the year. So that we might get a little bump of like, okay, because apparently what they showed last year was like an older build, so maybe
they have moved within the last few months to Unreal 5.3, which the newest version of Unreal is 5.4, but that just came out in April.
Oh, okay.
And supposedly it kind of transformed the lighting and terrain significantly, from what I've heard.
Because that was, even though gameplay wise and everything of just like the game looked good, it had, when people would, when you'd watch the reactions, people were like, wait, this is
something looks off.
Yeah,
like
because when you first saw the teaser of it, when they're like, oh, and they even talked about it like, hey, they saw this thing, that's why they signed Obsidian, because they saw Avowed. So it's like, and the gameplay looks sick, but we also thought maybe they just chose the wrong CGI trailer when they did the teaser that made it look like, oh, visually this is gonna be this, but yeah, hopefully we see a uptick on that and just see if that's kind of came along, because I don't think we've seen it since.
Avowed and Indiana Jones are supposed to have extended the press and influencers got to play it events the day after.
Oh, coming up, you mean?
Literally the day after the event, there's going to be coverage of Avowed
like
and Indiana Jones specifically.
Oh, okay. Yep. Obviously, we'll see more on Clockwork. Definitely getting all the BioShock vibes from that even more. So hopefully that would be cool if it made it this year. But
I think that's early next year. I think.
Okay. Did they already
I think that's early next year.
Oh, okay.
Personally, at least.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that would make sense, just so you have something to roll out since you already have Avowed, Indiana Jones. Oh, probably a Forza. Maybe a Forza Horizon.
That would be cool.
Japan, maybe. At least that's what people have been possibly rumoring or talking about. Trying to think, other than State of Decay, we definitely need to see. I think they have to at this point. Like that was one of the other. I feel like all of the studios that they signed in 2018, we're obviously seeing Avowed. We're seeing. We have to see something from Perfect Dark, and I think we will. State of Decay, and then I'm just trying to think of obviously Ninja Theory just dropped theirs, and then Playground they already had. So, but yeah, so I'm sure we'll see something from them. Obviously, they're doing Fable, so we'll probably see that from what we saw last year. I mean, they were saying, and it looked like you would see some pieces of gameplay, like when she was throwing an attack, like. I think they were saying that was gameplay of like them doing the animation. So I think that would be, a year later, we at least maybe get a date of something of it releasing hopefully next year. Maybe in like first half, that'd be cool.
Because that's the thing too, right? Would Playground be showing 2 games at the same event?
So they have 2 separate studios that do
separate
work
teams.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
But yeah, Playground showing 2 games at the same event would be kind of wild.
Not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying, like, again, like not everything. Again, guys, just because we're talking about it, like this is what we'd like, or we're putting,
That's why I keep stressing, if like 50% of what I have said could be there shows up, it's an incredible show. Like, immaculate show with 50%.
Yeah. Because keep in mind, there's so many other like shows to do, like towards like again the end, like throughout the rest of the year. That
they have QuakeCon, they have Tokyo Game Show, they have Gamescom. They potentially have an XO for the fall, but they've kind of turned XO into the Dev Direct in January. But they have the Dev Direct in January, and they have the Game Awards, right? Like they have so many places they can show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Kojima's not going to be at the show, and maybe they'll have him at Jeff Keighley's show.
Yeah, I think that the next time I genuinely think that they will put Kojima's nonsense at Jeff Keighley's show just because, like, it lets Xbox invade the mindshare of that show, and, like, Keighley and Jeff love each other.
That makes sense. Because that's what they did at the Game Awards, was, like,
they
people that are maybe not into games that much, like, oh, you know Jordan,
Yeah.
So, no, that makes sense. But yeah, I think that's. I'm trying to think if I left out any of the other first-party studios, but I can't think of anybody else that they have on their.
Well, again, to be fair, there's a lot. Like we're not used to
publishing. Yeah, there is a lot of publishing. Obviously, Contraband. Hopefully, we see something that was like feels like that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Or maybe 4 years ago. But
there's just so much. There's so much that they can show. There's so much that they could show. There's a lot that they probably half the show, right? Because like it's this year. Like looking at what's supposed to come out in the next like 12 months from this event is wild to start, right? Like you tally all that stuff up, and it would be one of the best events Xbox ever had. And it's just crazy.
Yeah.
My question is, not to interrupt Shockley, but my big question is, during this show, you know, the past few years, they, you know, for each, it's kind of like a running joke, but you know how they go like Xbox, you know, world premiere, Xbox console exclusive, Xbox
None of
this.
that.
They'll
do world premiere.
Yes, but I'm just wondering again if we'll see that kind of again language in there, or if it's just gonna be blank now. Because you know a lot of people are very curious. You know, we were kind of hinting at it earlier. You know, what's the language gonna be going into the show, because people want to be, you know, they want to be rest assured with they want like clear marketing from these guys, and I can't say I blame people either.
I purposely want them to be concise. Like if it's gonna come to PlayStation day one, like I'm at the point where like you as a publisher are putting games on the platform, right? And if Doom is gonna go to PlayStation, just tell us it's going to PlayStation in your event. Just rip the Band-Aid off now. Just like be upfront with this crap.
And unfortunately, you also with that have to tell us, okay, does this mean there is no exclusives? Because the 4 games that you came out and said, hey, it's just 4 games, those games were all at least like a year old, or some much older. So if people were like, okay, well, those are older titles, and some of them are pretty small titles, and even in the first party, Sea of Thieves was like nearly a freaking, you know, decade old, or 7 years old at this point. So, you know, it didn't really feel, this being a brand new not IP, but brand new entry. From the first thing we see from one of the top studios, you didn't buy Bethesda for Tango, but it was definitely one of the ones that probably you saw your eyes on. So
correct.
ZeniMax Online and Bethesda Game Studios are the big 3 that they have.
After that, if that comes out later, you have to have something. Somebody has to be answering questions of like, cool, then what other games is? And Indiana Jones not exclusive anymore. Like, is Avowed not exclusive? Like, it could be their best show and their worst show at the same time.
Yeah, because there's definitely going to be people asking, well, what does this mean for this and that, if they're not clear and concise. Like, and I think that's guaranteed. And to an extent, like, I have friends who are like, they own a PlayStation, that's it, or they own a Nintendo and that's it, or they only play on PC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at the point where like any game that's coming out, I don't care if it's at an Xbox show, at a PlayStation show, at a Nintendo show, I'm tired of the campy bullshit of just not telling you where the games are going. I'm tired of it from everyone. It's especially tiring from Xbox because, like, you're putting the games other places, my guys. And, like, they haven't done that yet, where, like, Doom is the big thing. Like, if it's coming day one to PlayStation, I don't want to find out after the Xbox event that it's going somewhere else. I want to know from Xbox where the crap it's going, right?
I mean, does it really matter? Because again, if we all have Game Pass and it drops day one, then
no,
right?
you're like my only thing is like I just want to see them support the console enough that enough people buy it, that games get that like third parties support it, and that there's enough reason for people to buy it so that I can buy my next one, right? That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. When I've been bitching on the show, that's all I've ever wanted, right? I want there to be enough demand for the console so that enough people are buying it so that I can buy one, and that the games that I want to play on it are on it, right?
Yeah,
that's what I want. And I think Xbox needs to get ahead of all of the people asking questions and just answer them before they can be asked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just up front, tell us where the shit's gonna go, Because then, if you're saying that Doom is going to be on PlayStation right now, but you don't say the same for Indiana Jones, then you've answered the question, at least for now, that, like, for now, Doom is going to be multi-platform, but if you want to play Indiana Jones for now, you're going to have to get Xbox. Maybe we'll put it on PlayStation later, right? And you get into that kind of rhythm, and yeah, people are going to ask, like, oh, when is it coming? But they can go at their own speed with different things. And they just, if they're going to put some stuff on PlayStation, just kind of interweave it into this. Say PlayStation. It's not the end of the world. You're doing it now. We're already in this. We are already in this existence. Just tell people where shit's going to go. And I say the same to PlayStation. I'm tired at your events of having to look up afterwards where the games are going to go. Right? I'm tired of it. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of at the end of a Nintendo event having to look up where the games are going to go. I'm tired of it. That's one thing I wish the industry would freaking move on from with the third party showings. Is just let the devs show where the games are freaking going to go. Mm-hmm. It's just it's frustrating.
Like Xbox couldn't even mention the word like Destiny anywhere. Like Destiny 1.
What?
Like Xbox couldn't advertise, couldn't even promote other than maybe like their console store for Destiny.
Which is wild because they can now. And Bungie's owned by PlayStation.
And now
they're promoting the final shape right now, and they should be. It's going to make a ton of money on all the platforms.
Oh,
and like that's the era we live in, right? Where all of these companies, they are all to some extent, except for Nintendo, putting some stuff on each other's platforms, right? PlayStation is like nowhere near as close as doing it as what Xbox is doing, but they are like to an extent doing it with Bungie stuff, which is why, like, at the same time, like with PlayStation, like if they just show PS5 and PS4 for the final shape or whatever the next Destiny piece of content is, like that annoys me. That annoys me to no end. Like we know based on what Bungie does where it's gonna be, and I if I remember correctly, when they showed Marathon off at the PlayStation event last year, it actually didn't even have PlayStation listed as a platform. To find the full list of platforms, you either had to go to the website or watch the full trailer on YouTube. Like, they didn't even list their own. And I guess that's another way to get around it, but like that's still really annoying as shit. Just say it's not taboo. You're selling the shit there. Advertise it to those people. Move on. Right? Like it's such an annoying concept that I understand why they do it, but it is slowly but surely for all of them becoming a relic of the past. This concept of like hiding the platforms. Like my guys, you're selling your shit on each other's platforms to some extent. Get over yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly a different era when it comes to IPs going over to different platforms. Again,
yeah.
Like, who would have thought we'd see so many PlayStation IP, let alone a couple, go like to PC, for example, because PlayStation's always been kind of protective that way, just having things on their console. Or, yeah, I mean, or again, Microsoft, Xbox, just, we go from, again, like, you wouldn't have thought that after they bought, like, big publishers that, like, oh, yeah, they'll, or big studios, oh, yeah, well, they'll buy them and then put a slew of them on, like, high-praise games like Hi-Fi Rush onto competing platforms. You wouldn't have said a word about that like 3 or 4 years ago. Now, the conversation is open. So.
Well, I sit here, right, and I'm like, Call of Duty, we legitimately right now know it's going to PlayStation. It doesn't matter if you tell that your show that it's on PlayStation. Like, we know that's going there. Just be honest. If you're truly going into a world where you are going to be selling your games on all the platforms, as silly as I think that is, that you're rushing into it this quickly. I think in like 5 years it makes total sense to if you've gradually moved it, like adjusted everyone to that concept. But like, if you're truly going into that world, then you need to embrace it, and you need to be upfront, and you need to Let everyone know exactly how stuff is going. No gimmicky hiding shit. It doesn't. The old rules don't work, right? Like it is annoying and confusing and bad, and you're just going to have articles written that are going to paint you in a bad light. Either way, people are going to be, questioning decisions and things like that. At least just straight up be honest about it, right? Like, just whatever you're doing, do it, and don't half-ass it. Either direction, don't half-ass this shit. Just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a possibility to basically make this up there with the Xbox One reveal that bad. Just with if you announce Doom coming to PlayStation, then there's just so much confusion going forward. Like, what about Indiana Jones? That's supposed to be. They said it was.
I do think that
why is this exclusive? It doesn't make any sense. The legacy part doesn't make any sense because they kind of implied like legacy meaning like, title that was literally already there, not like a new version, like literally the sequel. Like it just in the game. Why would you pick Doom and not like a Starfield? That would make more sense because it's kind of like the next Fallout or next, Elder Scrolls, a big mega game, kind of like a Call of Duty. That would make more sense.
Could also be an experiment in and of itself.
Or Indiana Jones, that was already signed as you might as well just flip that now, even though you went in there and flipped the original deal. You might as well just flip it back and just be like, hey, it's Indiana Jones. Well, Indiana Jones is not doing that hot.
You're right.
From an IP perspective anyway, so it probably needs to be everywhere.
You're right, but it's just
we need some straight up honesty.
Yeah, you're right. It's just that there's so many what ifs right now, and I agree with you guys. But I'm just like, again, we only have like less than a week now to go, and it's just like we'll have some kind of an answer to that. We'll have.
I hope we do.
Like, I'm not saying it'll be the answer that we want or what we expect, but we'll have some kind of an idea as to where they're going with things.
Or reminder, immediately after the show, Phil is interviewing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He's interviewing with IGN with Ryan McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Immediately following the show. So...
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah. We'll find out. I know Ryan said that he wasn't going to hold any punches about asking stuff about the closures and shit like that. So I'm hoping that we get some just they give these wishy-washy, maybe like non-answers to questions. Like, well, it's just these 4 games for now, but never say never. Everything could go. But we're not opening the dam. But we're not going to say never to this stuff. Like, you gotta
just say it.
Keep your fucking mouth shut.
Just say
and
never.
Just say we have no plans at this time. That's it. No plans at this time.
Never ever. Insomniac said never ever for Spider-Man. But
That's
hey,
true.
It did go. So, and PlayStation used to have only on PlayStation on all their boxes.
Yeah.
Now they don't. Like. It is what, even Xbox, Mass Effect was said exclusive on the box on the 360, but they ended up on the PS3 digitally.
Yeah.
Before the end, so.
Winter, I agree with you that no Xbox dudes want to see the multiplat icons. I don't want to see the multiplat icons, really. But, if this is where we're going, I want to know as a consumer where the shit's going. And if, Microsoft is the first party selling it, I want to know where they're putting it. So just be upfront. I wish it wasn't a world where things like Minecraft and Call of Duty just show the guy we know they're going to be multi-platform. It's not even a question. But I don't want to see the shit on here. But I would rather see the shit than be like, oh wait, everything afterward. It doesn't matter if it's at the show or I find out 10 minutes afterwards. The disappointment will be that disappointment. But I'd rather just them be up front and tell people where they're selling stuff if this is the path they're taking, right? that makes me feel better as a consumer. To just
Yeah. Because again,
they're not trying to beat around the bush. They're just doing.
Because the whole Game Pass thing of like, hey, it's coming to Game Pass, so at least you guys have that. That might work for the people that already have this console, but man, they said they're working on they're going to make another console after this. Good luck to who is purchasing it, because at this point, all you need is the Series X, and at a certain point, if it becomes technically, spec-wise obsolete, you can just go get whatever the next PlayStation is at that point, and then save the money. You're not spend another $500 for another console. Get one.
Well, I wouldn't be going into another console. I would be switching fully to PC.
And that's what I don't understand.
I don't trust PlayStation with my money. Like,
think about this too, though. PS Plus subscriber base and the Game Pass subscriber base, it's like 34 mil versus 47 mil, and PlayStation's been at 47 mil for like 4 years. Even after they merged PS Now in there. So they haven't really grown at all. And whereas Xbox, like, surprisingly, sure, it's, 13 million off, but compared to like how dwarfed Xbox is getting, destroyed at, to have, that's still decent, and that's pre-COD going into Game Pass. So like, I think Cog from Iron Lord was saying, like, you just at least see this through, like, at least for just a couple years, you're right there. Just like, don't let this all go right before you finally did all this stuff, and you bought, Bethesda, and you bought id and Avowed and all, like, just see it through for the next couple of years, and you have COD going into Game Pass. Like, this could still be huge, and then kind of swing to where you don't need to keep putting, and like, unless it really, really, really makes sense, you don't need to keep putting,
they have
piecemealing games over to PlayStation. Like,
they have some really interesting new IP that I think is, can really help boost their brand, whether it be Avowed, Clockwork Revolution, a few others, right? And again, I'm just curious, because again, these are the types of IPs that, you want to build up as an identifier for the Xbox brand and Game Pass and so on. And I'm just very curious to see, again, where the language is going into this show. And, again, the next couple of weeks, and seeing how they, address things, right? So, again, we're all curious. We're all curious where things go from here.
I just want some no bullshit. Just rip the Band-Aid off, or alternatively, if, like, you aren't planning, like, be honest with your plans and don't wishy-washy it. You know what I mean? Like,
and Satya's comments don't even make any sense to what these rumors are, because remember what he said last summer. Sure, I don't want exclusives, but we have to, because otherwise we can't compete with Sony. Some things have to be exclusive. And then he even recently said, hey, this Activision deal allows us to do what we kind of wanted to do and put games on other people's platforms. Well, you wouldn't need Activision to do that. You could just do that with, you bought a third-party publisher. You could just do it with that, and keep the ones you bought separately, like Obsidian, keep those exclusive, because you still added quite a few quality studios before you did Bethesda. You could have just done it with that. Mm-hmm. So why does Activision allow you to now do that? So it makes sense, because Activision titles are going to be Call of Duty, and Toys for Bob is probably going to be so the whole Activision deal could just be like their multi-plat play for the most part, and then obviously some MMOs that make sense from Bethesda, but
I just like CFTs, wish they would have put rails. There's just a couple rails, like, like our biggest franchises that are currently exclusive, we can't make all of them exclusive right now until, like, we see some movement from our from other platforms. Like, that's all they needed to say. They didn't need any specifics, just like, we can't do it all. Like, we would love to put everything everywhere, but we can't right now, because if we did that, it would damage us. Like, that's what they needed to say in February, and they didn't.
And I also think, again, we've talked about this before, but I do think it's likely that, they adjust their business plan to, like, whether it be, you look at the structure of how Xbox Game Pass is. I think you're going to see the tiers kind of get adjusted a bit, maybe another 1 or even 2 created. But I do think that there will be some kind of adjustments made to that.
But we know that Game Pass is coming, or that Call of Duty is coming to all of the tiers except for Core. Because, I mean, stuff doesn't go into Core. But they did straight up say that it's coming to Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
What is Call of Duty?
Yeah, Call of Duty. Like, it is officially coming to the tiers as they exist right now.
Well, they know you're the people that are, like, the diehards are gonna need online, so you're gonna get the Ultimate anyway.
Yeah.
Only on console, because you don't need it on PC.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, that's true.
PC Game Pass, which is part of why I'm like, God, another thing that would straight up, these are not additive. I will do 1 3. I cannot afford to do 2 different 3 months. If they kill gold, I will also give a 3 month, because that would be another big, like, okay, you're now the console that no one needs to pay anything to just play games on it besides the games themselves and the hardware. Right? You kill the paid multiplayer, and you now have a differential, right? Mm-hmm. You now have something that differentiates you that's not just the software. And so, like, that would be another thing. They do that, and I can more fully get behind them porting things faster, because they have made, well, it's cheaper to play on our hardware. You just play the game, just get on and play. You buy the game, you subscribe. We don't really care. Just play the games.
Yeah, they could get some goodwill back there.
Yeah, and like that's a thing where I'm like, they do that. That's another thing. I'll give it like they do that, or they bring back the backwards compatibility. 3 month Xbox Live Gold. Or Xbox Live Ultimate, Game Pass Ultimate. I'll give away, straight up.
Is there?
That would be another stretch. Like, that would be awesome.
Is there anything else, guys? With both of your predictions here, anything else to really add to this?
I'm sure I'm missing like 3 games that like there are code names for that we haven't seen, but like, yeah. And it's hard. Like, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be the best showcase. Like, out of the context of the situation the brand is in right now, it'll be the best showcase they've ever put on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think that's a hot take. I don't know how that could be a hot take based on what they have to show for like this year and next year. Like, I think it's just gonna be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It would definitely be cool if they had if Banjo showed up.
Yeah.
Just something. Obviously, they already have Perfect Dark, but that would be cool.
I mean, again,
I guess there's been rumors, but I don't know.
Yeah, like, if it's not Toys for Bob, it has to be either, like, platonic or playful.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you can find, I'm sure there's, like, kind of like they did with Killer Instinct. They found people that wanted to make Killer Instinct. That's what you really need, is just like, hey, we're really passionate about the original games, and we want to, do our own thing, so...
Although I would laugh my ass off if they were like, oh yeah, we have Team Bloober here, or the Chinese Room, and they wanted to have this passion project. It's Banjo-Kazooie.
I really, one thing I will say is they need at least 1, if not 2, large third-party reveals. Right, like I want to see them show off like a Metro Exodus 4, or a Dragon Age Dread Wolf for the first gameplay. Though I think that's a Jeff show, or like a Mafia game, like Mafia 4, or something like that. Like, yeah, because there's another BioShock game that's in development, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to see something like that at like 1 or 2 large third-party games that either we haven't seen in forever, we might know about, but like we don't really know anything about. Like give me something like that. That's the one thing I really like, because like that shows that like the third parties are still really involved with their platform.
Persona
that's
6 reveal.
the 007 game from IOI. That'd be another big one that like can you get marketing for that or something? Persona 6 is like is one of them that I like would be huge.
It'd almost
if
be
they got
like,
it.
oh, Persona's like a Xbox thing now.
Yeah, right. Like that's what I want to see. And like if they can get like the Final Fantasy games to start rolling back
Oh,
in,
if,
like
if they could,
in
if they could
earnest,
get Final Fantasy 7
if they can
remake,
get if they can get that
or
stuff,
just Final Fantasy 16,
yeah,
just either
they
one
can
of those
start-
at the show, that'd be huge.
they can start truly marketing themselves as like the ecosystem to play RPG games on. Like we have all of them. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because like Final Fantasy is like the last like real huge holdout in terms of like really large AAA franchises that they don't have the RPG support of totally. And they got 14 back, and that was really big when they got Final Fantasy 14 back on. You get like 16 or a 7 remake, and like you get them to just be there on
And
the
you could
on
be
the
the best
system.
console to play Final Fantasy 16 because I'm pretty sure they had a higher frame rate mode that
It did.
was in the 40s, and
It was
I don't think.
it was meh.
Okay.
It
Well, I'm
was
just saying
very
because of the
it
OLED,
was very meh.
the VRR. on
VRR
Xbox is
solution would make it
superior.
really good on Xbox, and like you have
Yeah.
the extra oomph of the Xbox. Though I will say, with like Square Enix and them not having done stuff on Xbox, I would be skeptical if their optimization practices would be good, just because they don't have the in-house knowledge from like
Yeah.
doing anything on Xbox recently. So, but like, you know, they show off like the Trials of Mana stuff, and like, you know, they truly become the cornerstone of RPG games, and they can run with that if they're like, oh yeah, the Final Fantasy franchise is back, right? Like, and they drop that bomb, then holy crap, like that's big. That's they can. Like, because right now they can be like, yeah, you know, like, it's the best place to play RPGs. But, like, they can really go and be like, we have all the RPGs, right? And that could even start to get the smaller devs to be like, should we really skip them with our RPG and stuff like that? Like, I really think that if they can get, like, if they can, you know, like they get like the Final Fantasy back on the console at this event, like that would be huge. That would be really, really, really
It would
big
make
for a
sense from
marketing
that
push.
conference they had. Like,
because-
they're obviously saying, "Hey, this isn't gonna work," and why would you need X? Because everybody's saying people on Xbox don't buy any games. I'm like, then why are devs saying they have to change what was not work? You know, everybody was thinking, oh, they're just getting so much more money from PlayStation or enough money. Then why do they need to come out and say we need to get on Xbox? Like,
yeah,
obviously,
you know, Square Enix straight up named them. They straight
They
up
have some
named
data.
Xbox. They straight up named Xbox, which is like, you know, and part of that gives me some minute to pause. Maybe I am overreacting with things. I don't think I am. I have lived through enough Microsoft nonsense with like Windows 8 and the Windows Phone and crap like that in my life that like I recognize that they see trends and they don't know how to react to the trends. They react too quickly or they react in a poor way. And like that's where I'm like I think that they're moving too quickly with this stuff. But like when Square Enix, in the light of seeing Microsoft making these things, is like we need to launch on their system, then that gives me, you know, okay, maybe things will be okay. But like I really, if they could get like Final Fantasy in the mix here, even if it's nothing new, because like I guarantee that PlayStation is always going to have the marketing for Final Fantasy. They're not going to let that go. But you know, if Microsoft could be like, yeah, the Final Fantasy is back on Xbox, that would be big, because they can take that and they can say that Xbox is the best place to play Final Fantasy, because Microsoft would have more Final Fantasy games on
That's true.
Xbox than PlayStation would have on PlayStation. Because at a minimum, I know Final Fantasy 13 trilogy is not on PlayStation. I don't know if are there any others? I think it's just 13, right?
Yeah.
That's the one that Xbox has that they don't. And like the 13 trilogy, that Microsoft can run with that marketing point and not be lying, right? And like that feeds into the backwards compatibility stuff, and that they can kind of like, oh, and it's because we care so much about games, and like, you know, and like and shit like that, and like they can really spin things around in their favor at this event, even going fully multi-platform. They just need to message things correctly, concisely, and well, right? And look at what they're doing and how they can leverage that to their advantage. And like that's what I want to see. Like, but Final Fantasy would be massive. Would be massive.
Taking money back, since Square likes money backs and sure things. I hope Microsoft does the money back and does a Final Fantasy VII remake in Game Pass.
See, like, I can't see 16. I can't see Rebirth, right? Like, I don't see either of those.
No,
but
yeah.
7 remake in Game Pass, that's not... I don't see it personally.
It's old. It's old enough.
It is old. It is old. And maybe that's, like, kind of how Microsoft gets the ball rolling with Final Fantasy being with, like, in a negotiation. Like,
they saw what Sega did with Persona and were like, hey, well, they're doing that.
They did it with Yakuza, too.
Yeah.
Like... Mm-hmm. And Final Fantasy coming back, by the way, like they get Final Fantasy back. That's the end of the catch-up era in Japan, right?
Yeah.
They got Yakuza, they got Persona, they're getting Shin Megami Tensei finally.
And they got Persona 3 remake day one, and the DLC went to all the Game Pass. Like people had to pay. I think it wasn't a cheap DLC. I think it was like what $30 or something.
Yeah. Because that's one of the big things.
Well, there's different things. Like even wasn't there like
not even with the sub to keep?
Wasn't there like a Dragon Quest that was also announced for?
Yes, the Dragon Quest remake was announced for Xbox
for the first time.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we're finally getting out
that version.
Like if Microsoft at this event can show off some like Final Fantasy stuff, they're finally out of the catch-up in Japan. Well, I mean they're not with their hardware, but they are with like getting the software on the platform, right? Because like they have been playing catch-up for the last few years on getting these big franchises on the platform. Mm-hmm. That would be a really big moment if they could get the Final Fantasy games on Xbox. And I think that would be a big moment for like because that's like. They're all taking us seriously again. I still think they need to try a little harder to get the little stuff like the Monster Hunter stories and stuff like that. But you get Final Fantasy and that stuff starts to like fade away. You bring them back, all that starts to fade away, and more people will take them more seriously that they are serious about Japan.
I'm calling this now Final Fantasy VII Remake Game Pass.
Yeah?
And it'll be I'm going to say Shadow Drop, but
you're calling it now. We're that confident in it.
It will come first, and then Final Fantasy 16, not Game Pass because it's more of a recent title. Right. That'll come later in the year, and will be like an official release come to Xbox. But the first one to drop is going to be Final Fantasy 7 Remake, but in Game Pass.
All right, but I'll tell you what. I will put that. It's still. This is not additive. This is any combination of the 3, 1, 2, or 3 of them happen. They do that. Well, I'll give away a code. We'll throw that in the mix of the shit that is qualifies for me to give away a 3-month code. All right.
Well, that would be very interesting. I mean,
listen. So the tally is if backwards compatibility gets reannounced as existing, Final Fantasy VII Remake coming, I will go so far as to just come into Xbox. I'll give away a code. And what was the third one? There was a third one. Oh, Gold, or Online, or Core, whatever the fuck they call it. They're just the paid online. Mm-hmm. Any of those 3 happen at the event, I'll give away a 3-month code.
Yeah, that last one's a hard one because they just bumped up their numbers to 34 mil.
They
did.
They
did that. They would.
They converted everyone, but now they can just like. They converted everyone, so they'll just drop the paid part, and maybe they'll put some more stuff in the core library. So instead of being 20 games, it's like 40 games, and whatever you were converted to, you keep, right? Because they already switched everyone to Game Pass Core. Now they just need to change the offerings of Core. Does that make sense?
Right.
And like. I'm at the point where, like, I look at I'm gonna call it Gold. Fuck, I can't call it whatever the fuck it's called. We're just calling it Gold for the rest of the night because, like, it makes more sense in my feeble-minded brain.
I feel
Gold
like it's...
is a really big pain point because you have like only like half of the largest games use it anymore, right? Like Halo doesn't need it, Fortnite doesn't need it, Destiny doesn't need it. If it's free to play, it doesn't need it, right?
Yeah.
But then you have like Call of Duty that needs it. You have Final Fantasy 14 that needs it. It's not technically free to play. And you have like GTA that needs it. So you have like only half of what you used to need it doesn't need it anymore. Then you have like the PC offering where like PC players get the Xbox Live features. They get the messaging, they get party chats, that like they're not forced to subsidize anything that exists, right? And Phil has gone on the record saying that like hardware subsidization is like not really something that they're going to be able to do again moving forward just because of how the differential of costs is. And then you have like PC players don't have to pay for online for Call of Duty, right? Like they don't. And so I'm just like it really is a relic that doesn't fit the modern ecosystems. Like it's starting to feel that way with PlayStation too, with like Concord and Helldivers.
Yeah.
You don't need PS Plus on PC to play those games. And that just makes it cheaper to play them on PC. And that's something that, like, again, if I was PlayStation, I wouldn't really want that kind of, like, that association, because it feels like you're nickel and diming your console players.
It feels like PlayStation gamers are second-class citizens.
Right. and so, like, and that's where I'm like, if there was a time to kill gold, in my opinion, it's now. When with your first Call of Duty in Game Pass.
The time to kill it was immediately before the release of Xbox One. After that was the only thing that could have really turned around and just like done a flip to them.
They should have just killed it when the Series X launched.
When Jeff Grubb was saying that it was going to happen, that's when they should have done it.
Yeah, like
it's just like people already ingrained in their console of this gen. Like you're not flipping. It's not going to do anything that it could have done to get people when it were shortages. Remember? So they couldn't get a PS5, and if it's free to play online, oh shit, I'll just get an Xbox. I don't have to pay.
They have plenty of things that they can do with the value
two opportunities. Too. It just doesn't make any sense now.
Like, because some people will be like, well, why will people say subbed, right? Because, like, some people, why would they say subbed? And, like, you can give away a battle pass every now and again. You can give away in-game currency. That's like, literally free, right? Like, that doesn't cost you really, it's an opportunity cost. Like, you could have sold that to them, but you're giving it to them instead. But, like, it's a digital product. It doesn't cost you a logistical anything. You know what I mean? It's literally just bytes you're sending to the console. So... I really think that that would be a really big thing for them moving forward if they're really going into this multi-platform. How do I make my console attractive? That would be like the first thing that I'd be saying in meetings is like, let's get rid of this and just make it so like if you want to play Fortnite, just buy an Xbox, download Fortnite, and you can just play. You want to play Call of Duty? You just buy Call of Duty. You sub the Game Pass. Doesn't matter. No barrier in your way. You just play the game. It'd be cheaper here to do it.
All right.
Right? So I would love to see that. That would be like the stretch goal. The stretchest of stretch goals.
All right. I'm just looking at the time, guys. Anything else to add? Or... Anything else to add, guys? Or
I'm done.
How about you, Shockley?
Nope.
All right. Yeah, not to put a cap on everything, but damn, we covered a lot of stuff, especially with a short crew. Like, that's pretty impressive, guys. Damn. Give yourselves a pat on the back. But yeah, okay, gentlemen, I do believe that does it for this one. And I know we're all excited for next week with the Xbox Showcase. And, there's other various shows, showcases, events, and so on. And there will be a slew of news coming out, so we'll keep our eyes on everything coming out, and next week should be a lot of fun. And to all of you that joined us tonight, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate all of your energy, your questions, and just general banter in the chat. If you enjoyed our talk tonight, then please consider leaving a like, subbing over to the channel. Of course, hey, share it out. Let everybody know about the show on social media. All right, next up, go over to the outros. Shockley, buddy, where can everybody find you at?
As always, you can find me at ShockNero on Twitter, EZShock on Xbox Live. But yeah, good show tonight. Actually, that last topic, we had a lot to. I thought that was going to go by quick, and this is going to be a short show. But yeah, ready to what next Sunday's this show? So perfect. So show's right after. But hopefully, hopefully we get. I don't even know what's going to happen, but we'll see then.
Yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's either way, they have a full docket of games, and we'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah, Crusader, hey, again, loved your thoughts tonight as well. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Crusader3456 on most social media. I'm primarily on Twitter. Don't expect to hear from me much until later in the week next week, because I will be playing Destiny. And I would recommend everyone go check out My Name is Bife's 10-hour Destiny lore video recap, because it's great. And I watched it yesterday with the boys at my house.
Damn.
10 hours of lore. It's great.
I can appreciate that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, guys, and I'm Invader. You guys can find my content on YouTube at Invader Gaming. Again, good show tonight, and we look forward to seeing you all here next week for our coverage of the Xbox Showcase. Should be plenty to talk about. Later, everyone. It's been great.